She told our friends I was too sensitive to handle real women. I only found out because one of them thought I deserved to know. A few nights later, someone sent me a clip from her private story. She was laughing with her friends saying, "He can't handle me. I'm way out of his league." I didn't say a word, just walked out of her life completely. 2 weeks later, her mom showed up at my apartment, crying and asking what I did to her daughter. Some people wear masks so convincing you never question what's underneath. Then one day, the mask slips and you see the monster behind it. That's how I learned that the woman I thought I loved was actually my worst enemy. I'm Alex, 34M, and I coach high school basketball in Minneapolis. It's not a career that makes headlines or brings in six figures, but it's my passion. Watching kids develop confidence, discipline, and teamwork. There's nothing like it. My girlfriend, Victoria, 29F, was a corporate lawyer at Huntington & Associates, one of those firms where everyone wears $1,000 suits and works 80-hour weeks. We'd been together for 2 years. On paper, we shouldn't have worked. She came from old money, the kind where summer was a verb, and they had a different house for each season. I grew up in a working-class neighborhood where summer meant pickup games at the park and jobs at the local grocery store. But love doesn't care about tax brackets, right? Wrong. Victoria always had this way of making backhanded compliments sound like praise. "I love how you don't care what people think about your job," she'd say, adjusting my collar before we went out. Or, "It's so refreshing dating someone who's not obsessed with status." At first I took these as genuine compliments. I was proud of my work, proud of the difference I made in kids' lives. I didn't need a corner office to feel successful. But things started to shift about 6 months ago. Victoria began making excuses for why I couldn't attend certain work functions. "It's just boring lawyer talk," she'd say. "You'd hate it." She started correcting my grammar in public, laughing it off as helping me polish my image. When I'd talk about my team's victories, she'd quickly change the subject to her latest case win. The first real crack appeared at her colleague Madison's engagement party. I overheard Victoria talking to a group of her lawyer friends in the kitchen while I was getting drinks. "At least he's trainable," she was saying. "Remember that guy I dated from Goldman? Now that was a lost cause. Alex is simple, sweet, but simple, like a golden retriever." They all laughed. I stood there, holding 2 glasses of champagne, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. When I confronted her later, she gaslit me beautifully. "Oh honey, you're being too sensitive. It was just girl talk. You know I adore you." I let it go. That was my first mistake. The real wake-up call came at my friend Jake's 35th birthday party last month. It was at this trendy rooftop bar downtown, the kind of place where the drinks have names you can't pronounce and cost more than I spend on groceries for a week. Victoria was in her element, working the room like she was at a networking event. I was talking to some old college friends when Mike, one of my closest buddies, pulled me aside. He looked uncomfortable, shifting his weight from foot to foot. "Listen, man," he started, not meeting my eyes. "I've been wanting to tell you something for a while, but I didn't know how." My stomach dropped. Nothing good ever follows that opening. "Last week at Sarah's wine tasting, you know, the one you couldn't make because of the game, Victoria was talking about you." I nodded, waiting. "She said you're too sensitive to handle real women, that you're basically a high school kid yourself, which is why you coach them." She was laughing about how you got upset when she made fun of your salary. I felt the blood drain from my face. "She said that? In front of everyone?" Mike nodded. "That's not all. Apparently she's been doing this for months, making jokes about how you're sweet but simple, how she's doing charity work. By dating down. I thought you knew and just didn't care, but seeing your face now..." I spent the rest of the party watching Victoria differently. I noticed things I'd been blind to before. The way she'd roll her eyes when I spoke, the condescending pat on my arm when I made a point, how she'd interrupt me to clarify what I meant. 3 days later, I got a text from Jake. "Bro, you need to see this. Sarah took a video at girls' night. I wasn't sure if I should send it, but you deserve to know." I clicked play. The video showed Victoria lounging on her white leather couch, wine glass in hand, surrounded by 3 women I recognized as her law school friends. They were clearly several drinks in. So get this, Victoria said, her voice dripping with amused condescension. Alex tried to give me relationship advice yesterday. Like, honey, you coach teenagers. I negotiate million-dollar deals. We are not the same. Her friends erupted in laughter. He's sweet, she continued, but it's like dating a puppy. You know they're loyal, but you can't exactly have deep conversations with them. Then why are you still with him? One friend asked. Victoria swirled her wine thoughtfully. He's comfortable, predictable. Plus, it drives my mother crazy that I'm dating someone so blue-collar. And let's be honest, he worships me. It's good for my ego. But long-term? Another friend pressed. Victoria laughed. Please, he can't handle me. I'm way out of his league, but it's fun for now. Like keeping a Toyota while you save up for a Mercedes. Reliable, but nobody's impressed. The video ended. I sat there in my apartment, feeling something inside me crystallize into cold clarity. There was no anger, no hurt, just a sudden, perfect understanding of who Victoria really was. I didn't call her, didn't text, didn't make a scene. Instead, I spent the next day methodically erasing myself from her life. First, I texted her while she was at work. Can you leave your spare key to my place under the mat when you get home? Need to get some things sorted this weekend. She responded with, Sure, everything okay? I didn't reply. That evening, after confirming she'd left the key, I went to her apartment. I collected every trace of my existence, clothes, toiletries, the books I'd left there, photos of us, even the expensive coffee maker I'd bought her for Christmas. She'd mocked me for spending so much on a kitchen appliance, but used it every morning. I left her key on the counter with a note, returning your spare, A. Next, I canceled our upcoming vacation to Costa Rica. Victoria had been planning this for months, talking about how good we'd look on the beach, how jealous her Instagram followers would be. I got a full refund because I'd purchased travel insurance, something she'd mocked as paranoid and middle class. Then came the surgical removal from social media. I didn't block her. That would have been too obvious, too dramatic. Instead, I quietly unfollowed her, removed her as a follower, and made all my accounts private. To her, it would simply appear as if I'd vanished. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Victoria's firm was hosting its annual charity gala that weekend. She'd been on the planning committee and had spent weeks talking about how crucial it was for her career advancement. I was supposed to be her plus one, and she'd already told the senior partners all about her successful boyfriend to craft the image she wanted. When Saturday came, I didn't show up. I later heard from Jake that Victoria had to scramble to explain my absence to the partners she'd been trying to impress. She'd arranged for us to sit at the head table with the managing partners, and my empty seat was glaringly obvious all night. The texts started rolling in around 8 p.m. Where are you? This isn't funny. Alex, I'm at the gala. People are asking about you. Are you sick? What's going on? You're embarrassing me in front of my entire firm. Answer your fucking phone. I changed my number the next day. For 2 weeks, I focused on what mattered. My team was heading into the regional championships, and we needed to be sharp. I poured everything into coaching, running extra practices, reviewing game footage, working with kids who needed additional help. We won regionals. The local paper ran a feature story about our team's journey, highlighting how we'd overcome adversity to achieve something special. My phone, with its new number, buzzed with congratulations from people who actually cared about me. Then came the knock on my door. It was a Tuesday evening, around 7 p.m. I was reviewing game tape when I heard the pounding. Through the peephole, I saw Diana, Victoria's mother, mascara running down her face. I opened the door. What did you do to her? Diana demanded, pushing past me into my apartment. Hello to you too, Diana. Don't be smart with me. Victoria is falling apart. She got drunk at the office holiday party, made a scene in front of the managing partner. She's on administrative leave pending a review. What did you do? How did you find my apartment? I asked, genuinely curious. Your address was on the Christmas card you sent us last year, she said impatiently. Now answer me. I left, I said simply. Without a word? Without an explanation? That's not normal, Alex. That's cruel. I studied her for a moment. Diana had always been kind to me. Even if it was in that condescending way rich people are kind to the help. She deserved to know the truth. Would you like to see why I left? I asked. I pulled out my phone and played the video Jake had sent me. Watched as Diana's face went from indignant to shocked to ashamed. "Oh God," she whispered when it ended. This doesn't sound like her." "Really?" I asked, because to me it sounds exactly like her. Diana sat heavily on my couch, suddenly looking older. "She learned this from her father," she said quietly. "He always taught her that the world was divided into winners and losers, that kindness was weakness. I tried to counter it, but you didn't try hard enough," I finished. She nodded, tears flowing freely now. "The firm called me yesterday. I'm her emergency contact. They're concerned about her behavior, missing deadlines, berating paralegals, showing up smelling of alcohol. The managing partner said if she doesn't get help, they'll have to let her go." "That's not my problem anymore," I said. "No," Diana agreed sadly. "I suppose it isn't. I needed to understand. Now I do." She left shortly after, apologizing repeatedly for her daughter's behavior. I felt a twinge of sympathy for her, but not enough to change anything. 3 months later, the news trickled down through the grapevine. Victoria had been let go from Huntington and Associates. According to Jake, who still had connections there, her performance had steadily declined after my disappearance. She'd alienated clients, missed important deadlines, and finally gave the partners no choice. The last I heard, she'd taken a position at a smaller firm across town, a significant step down from her previous role. Her Instagram account remains active but private. The friends who used to orbit around her success have quietly moved on to other social circles. As for me, I'm still coaching, still changing lives one practice at a time. My team went on to win the state championship. Several of my players earned college scholarships. The local news did a feature on our program's success. I started dating again, slowly, carefully. Met someone at a coffee shop near school. Sarah teaches art and understands why I do what I do. She's painted murals in our gym and comes to all our games. When I talk about my kids' achievements, her eyes light up with genuine interest. Sometimes I think about Victoria, wonder if she ever truly understood why I left. But then I remember that video, remember the casual cruelty in her voice, and I know I made the right choice. Because here's the thing about toxic people, they don't change unless they want to. And Victoria never saw anything wrong with her behavior. To her, I was always just the Toyota she settled for until she could afford better. Well, I hope she enjoys the bus route to her new office. Update. Thanks for all the support, everyone. To answer some common questions, no, Victoria never tried to contact me again after I changed my number. According to the grapevine, she tells people I ghosted her without explanation and plays the victim. Classic narcissist move. Yes, the basketball team continues to thrive. We're building something special here, and the administration has increased our funding thanks to our success. Sarah and I are taking things slow, but it's good, really good. She made a banner for our championship celebration that said victory through teamwork. Victoria would have called it cheesy. I call it perfect. To everyone dealing with similar situations, trust your gut. If someone consistently makes you feel small, they're not your person. Don't let anyone dim your light just because it makes theirs look brighter. And yes, I still have that coffee maker. Makes a damn fine espresso. Like and subscribe if you don't want a partner like Victoria.